Hi first grade. Today for science you're going to be talking about the phases of the moon. So you're going to need your moon phases worksheet. You're going to need your phases of the moon worksheet. You're going to need scissors, pencil, and glue. When you go outside and you look at the moon, sometimes you see that it's different shapes. One night it might be very small, maybe the size of your fingernail or the shape of your fingernail. Maybe one night it's half of the moon. Another night it might be a full moon where you see the full circle of the moon. These are called the phases of the moon. Now the moon, we see the moon because the sun's light is reflecting off of the moon. We can't see the moon if the light from the sun is not reflecting off of it because it does not make its own light. So I'm going to pull up our worksheet here and we're going to go through it together. Okay, this is the worksheet that you will need first. And I'm going to take my pencil, I'm going to write sun right here because the sun is on this side of the earth on this worksheet. Okay, now as the sun reflects off of the moon is how we see the different phases. So when the sun's light shines off of the moon right here, it bounces right back, which is why we can't see it at all. This is called the new moon. Now as it keeps going, as the moon keeps going around the earth, we can start to see it a little more. So the sun's light is reflecting off of the moon and we can start to see it a little bit. Then as it keeps going, the light reflects a little bit more and then we can start to see half of it. And then it keeps going and so on. Now as it reflects the first phase is called the new moon. And then as it goes, it's called the waxing crescent because it kind of looks like a crescent, or what I like to call, it looks like the fingernail shape. Then it keeps going into what we see half of it, half of the light from the sun is reflecting off the moon. This is called the first quarter, or it's also called a half moon. Then it keeps going into waxing gibbous, where we start to see more and more of it, into a full moon where all of the sun's light is reflecting off of the moon and we can see the full moon. Then after the full moon, that's when it starts to get small again and then we can't see as much of it anymore. So after the full moon, it goes into a waning gibbous where it starts to hide some of the moon. And then it goes into third quarter, which is the half moon again. And then waning crescent, where you see you see a little bit less than half. You see the crescent shape, and then it goes into a new moon again, where we can't see any of it anymore. This is wane. The first part of the phase is called waxing. I like to remember it as where if I spray wax on something, the wax makes it feel a little bit thicker. So here, the moon, it's getting a little bit thicker and we can see more of it as it gets bigger. Then here, waning means that it's getting smaller. So after the full moon, the moon looks like it's getting a little bit smaller because of the sun's light, how it's reflecting. So the waning crescent means that it's getting smaller. So you're going to use this for the next worksheet, the phases of the moon. We're going to do the first part together. This time, the sun is on this side of the earth. So the sun here on this worksheet, the sun reflected off of this moon and bounced right back. So we can't see it at all. This one was called the new moon. So you're going to take out your scissors and you're going to cut this part here. And we're going to cut out this one because this one was the new moon. It starts the phase over again. That's why it's the new moon. So the new moon goes right here because it's bouncing right off of the moon and coming straight back. So if we're on Earth, we can't see that the sun is reflecting off of it. So this was the new moon. Then you're going to cut out the label. And you're going to put it right on top and glue that down. And then you're going to do the next one. So the next one on this worksheet, after the new moon, it moves up into what looks like the crescent. And remember, which word means getting bigger? We can see more, the waxing crescent. So the next one will be the waxing crescent. Have fun filling out the phases of the moon.